Welcome to Thieves' Cant, a tabletop gaming podcast, with your hosts, Jeremy Shane and Chris White.
Welcome back and welcome in. It is Thieves' Cant, Saturday, September 6th. I'm Jeremy Shane.
And I'm Chris White.
Thanks for listening. Thanks for following at Thieves' Cant Cast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, wherever you listen. If you want to reach out, get in touch, do so. thievescantcast@gmail.com. Chris, hope you've had a good week.
Oh, it's been good.
Yeah?
No reason. I'm still alive.
Yeah?
I'm feeling good.
I'm feeling pretty good. Got to watch the Chiefs lose last night.
Yeah?
There was much laughter and celebration in my household.
Oh.
Side note, we are, here at Thieves' Cant, in the midst of Chiefs country.
Yeah.
I stand in defiance.
I must confess my indifference, but
yeah,
I understand it.
I'm just excited that the NFL season has kicked off, primarily for my fantasy football leagues. Although I am, Chris, in the number of leagues where you start to realize that by rooting for one of your teams, you're actually cheering against another one of your teams. It's this vicious cycle that you put yourself in. And that's
kind of self-hate, right?
It really is.
Yeah.
You start thinking, maybe I've taken this too far, but I'm in it now. So let's go crazy.
It sounds like to me one way or another, you're not going to lose.
No.
You're going to win.
Hey, coming up in today's episode, we're going to take a closer look at that most recent Unearthed Arcana release from D&D.
That's the Apocalyptic Subclasses.
Totally not Dark Sun, wink, wink, right?
Totally not.
Yeah. Free League is getting set to drop a new expansion for Twilight 2000. Pre-orders are open for the new D&D Starter Set, and we get more clarity on the goals of D&D's new franchise model. In our crowdfunding spotlight, we're going to give some love to Deadlands Classic. But first up, let's get to the listener feedback. Marcus found our sister show, Thieves Cant Capers, where we're talking Draw Steel, and he wanted to email to talk about the game. He says, "Greetings, Jeremy and Chris. My name is Marcus, and I'm a Brazilian fan of your podcast. I'm writing this email simply to say, keep it up. I'm really enjoying the Thieves Cant Capers about the Draw Steel content." Well, Marcus, thank you. My RPG group is preparing to dive into the system soon. My longtime DM is a huge Matt Colville fan, and he couldn't be more excited about the launch of Draw Steel. While researching in preparation for our first session, I struggled to find content that really clicked with me until I found your podcast. I love how you analyze and discuss the material in a way that's engaging without being superficial or overbearing. I'm genuinely looking forward to your upcoming episodes. Thank you for the work you're doing. It really makes a difference. Best, Marcus. I got to say, that's an email we love to hear.
Yeah, man, that does feel really good. We really appreciate it, Marcus. And just so you know, Jeremy is really overbearing.
And Chris is super superficial.
That's true. I am. Yeah. Yeah.
Like some people are only official, and Chris is superficial.
Yeah, I am. It's my power, my mutant ability. No, we appreciate it, man, and that's really encouraging for us.
Yeah, and again, if you are interested in Draw Steel, we would love to point you to Thieves Cant Capers, where we are making our way through the Draw Steel rule books in slower than real time.
Just a little.
Yeah. We also got a YouTube comment from Grailcase concerning Draw Steel. Chris, he's kind of confirming our speculation that Draw Steel characters, even if they're in the same class, can play and feel completely different from one another. You want to read this one?
Yeah, it says, I'm really enjoying this series. I've run for a 5-person party with 2 tacticians, a vanguard and an insurgent, that felt very different, but 2 elementalists, Void and Earth, didn't even feel like the same class. The Void Mage was blasting away at max distance and teleported away if any enemies got close. The Earth Elementalist had nearly as much stamina as the tactician and was comfortable up in melee, pushing enemies around and causing holes to open up under them. Yeah, and what's funny about this is just this morning I was actually looking at the tactician, and I was like, I want to play all 3 of these. Like, I want to see them in action so bad because such different flavor. You know, the Vanguard that's up front and fighting. The other one almost has like a rogue feel, and we'll get more into that in the capers when we get to the tactician. But yeah, exactly. Elementalist, completely different. Yeah, and that's what I really like is these characters do not feel like carbon copies of each other, but it's like a completely different path.
Right. So if a few players are interested in the same class, I say go for it. Go for it. They can be in the same party.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's still complement one another rather than being redundant.
Yeah. But Grail Case, we definitely appreciate the feedback and the confirmation that that's the case. Some real world experience.
Much appreciated. All right. With that, thanks for the listener feedback. We've got a Thieves Cant question of the week. We are talking ideal party size. Chris, from the GM side of things, what is your ideal party size? What's your ideal group size to run for?
4 is pretty good, but I feel like I feel like any mix of 4 to 6.
Yeah,
and it depends on the players, right? Is everybody engaged? Is everybody respectful of other people's time? But anywhere in the 4 to 6 range, yeah. I feel like is good.
Right. Our primary group that you and I share right now, it's usually 1 GM and 3 players.
Yeah.
I kind of like 3.
Yeah.
There are times where it feels like if we had a 4th, maybe this would be a little more well-rounded. Mm-hmm. But in terms of the narrative side of things and kind of making sure that all characters get that spotlight and feel equally important, I think on the GM side, 3 is easy to manage and pull that off.
Yeah. It's, I've played in groups that were 10.
Sure.
Or even more.
Sure.
And especially with combat, you have your turn, and then it's like, okay, I'm going to go make a sandwich, and, I'm going to go watch my favorite sitcom, because, like, it is forever until you go again. It's really easy to check out. It's not as engaging. Yeah, you're right. I mean, with the 3-person party that we've been running with, it seems like things are really fast. Like, it's pretty snappy, like, especially if I'm on my game and you guys have a pretty good idea of what you want to do.
Right.
Like, the rounds go fast, and it does really speed up combat. So, but it is fun to have a few more people around the table.
Yeah. On the flip side, with that group of 3, most games being tailored for slightly larger parties, it does require you as the game master to make some adjustments on what you are throwing at the party. Mm-hmm. But making adjustments is part of the job of a game master. Mm-hmm. No matter what department you're making those adjustments in, you're going to be making them.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. What's your ideal party size? Weigh in. thievescantcast@gmail.com. Ready for the headlines?
I'm ready.
All right, let's jump in. All right, new announcement from Free League, Operation Reset. Pre-orders are open for the next expansion for Twilight 2000. They just announced this earlier this week. Operation Reset is a major campaign supplement for the 4th edition of Twilight 2000. Details include a full-color book with new factions, encounters, scenario sites, new rules for mass battles, encounter cards tailored to the storyline. They've got modular battle maps, a double-sided 34 by 22-inch map of Warsaw and Stockholm. That supplement can be set in either of those metropolises or in a metropolis of your choosing. It's kind of an alternate World War III setting. Pre-orders include early access to a complete PDF with the physical release slated for spring of next year. To this point, Twilight 2000, the 4th edition from Free League, has seen the core box set release back in 2021. It was followed by the Urban Operations and Hostile Waters supplements. So Operation Reset is going to conclude that storyline, that major arc. So if you're a fan, be on the lookout. Get that pre-order in.
Absolutely.
You get that PDF right away.
But be careful when you're pre-ordering this, because I was a little disappointed to find out it didn't have anything to do with vampires that sparkle in the sunlight or werewolves. Completely different vibe.
Moving on. Pre-orders are open as well for the D&D Starter Set that is coming quickly. D&D's biggest starter set ever made, they call it. I don't know if you got a glimpse of some of the material that's in this box set. We've got a closer look at it this week. Some of the class cards. Mm-hmm. All I can think is Gloomhaven.
Yeah.
When I see some of the components, and I don't mean that as a knock, but clearly, I mean, WotC is paying attention to what's happening with a lot of these kind of RPGs in a box, these board game, role-playing game hybrids, and how they are making the gameplay more accessible for players. I think they're taking a lot of cues. What do you think of playing D&D with cards, tokens for hit points? Is it too many fiddly bits for the classic game that you know and love?
It is for me, I think.
Yeah.
About as close as I came to that was 4th edition.
Right.
Yeah, I would have the cards.
Yeah.
I have my little plastic sleeves, that I'd put them in. And honestly, like, sometimes I like having stuff like that for a character, and when I'm feeling organized or putting in that much effort. But yeah, I don't know that I want to mess with all that. Like, there's already dice on the table and minis,
maps, all that.
Yeah.
I see the contents for the starter set, and I do get excited about lots of stuff in a box, but it forces me to think back to early gaming days. Whenever you invited me into that big group that you mentioned earlier, you've sat around the table with a party of 10. Coming into that, and maybe I'm just being overly nostalgic here, but coming into a table and having nothing but your character sheet, that was it. I don't know. This seems so far removed from that.
Do you think this is an attempt to appeal to maybe more of a board game audience? Is it an attempt to kind of turn D&D into more of a board game experience?
I would say appealing to that audience is certainly part of it, in addition to making the game easier to learn for a new player. My question is, if you learn to play using these elements and you enjoy it, what's going to make you want to give that stuff up and just use the character sheet? Is the game now going to feel less because you don't have those components involved?
Yeah. Well, how hard would it be to bring that with you? That's the question. Is there any kind of support for the game beyond this set?
Yeah, I think because it only covers the first few levels of play, right? So beyond that, are we going to see community content created to continue to use those elements at higher levels? I mean, time will tell. I'd say it's a safe bet. Somebody's going to do something, right? Mm-hmm. And if it's a big hit, maybe it's WotC themselves. Maybe it's D&D itself that actually says, all right, now here's kind of the same package for higher level play if this is what you like. I don't know.
It's something to think about.
Something to ponder. Yeah.
Kind of interesting.
Yeah. We've got more clarity on the D&D franchise model, at least the goals for it. WotC President John Haidt, he did an interview with GamesIndustry.biz, kind of outlining what that franchise model looks like. The unified structure with all operations, including physical and digital products under Dan Ayub, aiming for enhanced coordination, trying to align game releases with media projects like, TV or movie adaptations. Haidt cited the movie, the Honor Among Thieves D&D movie, saying, "We'd love to have had a D&D book or campaign as part and parcel with the movie." I mean, yeah, I think everybody at the time was saying, why aren't there more tie-ins? Why is this not being pushed in a bigger, better way? The fact that they are not considering this stuff until now is kind of a head-scratcher.
You think about Stranger Things.
Yeah, that's another example that he gives.
Yeah, like that feels like it kind of came out of nowhere, right? So I can see not having a tie-in for that, but
sure.
Honor Among Thieves, you knew this was coming for a long time.
How many years was the movie in development?
Right. So it's kind of odd that they didn't coordinate anything along with that.
I mean, something, a set of minis, or it's just surprising there was so little on the game side that related to the movie.
Right.
On that Stranger Things example, they say the show led to fantastic interest in D&D, but it'd be nice to have all that lined up. So when this thing rolls out, we've got a campaign for you to enjoy. That's something that you saw on the show or the characters in the show. Mm-hmm. So again, just a little more forward thinking is in order here. He also spoke about the digital side of things, saying what I want us to be able to do. And I'm interested what you think this actually means, Chris, is have players move fairly seamlessly between in-person play and online play. He says a digital ventures division at WotC is essentially where we're going to incubate some new franchises or take existing franchises from our board games, physical toys, or even some of the digital products that we may have on the licensing side, but now we want to elevate it to a larger digital presence. I don't know. I kind of get lost in all that.
Yeah, there is some business speak in there, I think. But
he didn't confirm anything, but he did hint that maybe there's a new D&D MMO that could be coming.
Which, by the way, just a shout out.
Yeah,
Dungeons and Dragons Online. It's like a super old game,
right?
But like that is a pretty neat game. If you get an it's free to play.
Okay,
and it's worth checking out if you're just looking for an MMO. I don't know. It's interesting that he talks about, again, with online play. You know, they had their virtual tabletop that they effectively abandoned. So I don't know if he's referring to maybe something like that or if he's just talking about some third-party online resources that are out there. I don't know how they would convert and make that as seamless. So is this something like, hey, we can get together Friday. We can't get together next Friday, but we could all hop online and play. You know, is it something like that? If so, that might be interesting. You know, a simple way to convert the things that had happened. I don't know.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting to see what they have in mind.
All right. So a little more clarity on the franchise model and a few more questions as well. All right. With that, I think that's it for headlines.
Whoa.
Okay.
Hold on, man. There's one more thing we got to talk about.
What's up?
The big controversy of the week, right?
Maybe I've missed this.
Critical Role for their, I believe this is
season 4,
fourth season,
okay,
right? Have opted to use D&D as their system of choice rather than Daggerheart,
right? Which is the house game,
right,
from Darrington Press. Okay, I didn't know this.
Yeah.
We normally don't talk Critical Role on this show. They don't need our help, right?
You think they're doing all right? They have slightly better viewings than we do.
They've got a few more subscribers,
just a few,
than we do. So, what are your thoughts on this then?
It's really interesting.
No.
I mean, everybody's going back and forth as to what the motivation is. It's interesting, isn't it? I mean, you have your own product you're making.
Just came out.
Yeah. And it's like
the last couple months.
So that's the question. Was this planned way ahead of time and there wasn't enough time to change systems?
Yeah.
A lot of people think it's just a matter of money. Like Hasbro's backing the show. They're giving a lot of cash. So maybe that's all it is. Yeah. I don't know, but it's interesting.
My read on it, and not that my read matters. I mean, who cares? Nobody cares what I think, but I'm going to tell you what I observe. Again, I'm not a Critical Role fan. I don't pay much attention to it. I do know that they have more than this one main show. They do other shows and other campaigns around it, and I know that they do use Daggerheart in some of that content. This main show has always used D&D.
Right.
And I don't think you can ignore the fact that Perkins and Crawford are now part of the team.
Right.
You've got the ultimate D&D resources right there at your fingertips. I think that's what it has more to do with, the tradition of it and the people who are now part of the team than any sort of fear that if we use our own system, our show will lose popularity. I don't know.
Yeah,
I could be way off, but that's just me looking in from the outside.
No, I mean I agree. It's consistent. You know, you have this ongoing story,
right?
So yeah, it.
I don't know enough about Daggerheart to know how much that story would be impacted by a system change, a change in the available classes,
right.
The the lore that Daggerheart brings with it versus what a 5e system does. I mean, they've got their own lore established at this point, but you know what I mean.
Right. No, I'm like you, and I'm not a Critical Role fan. I don't watch it, but it's obviously very popular.
Right.
This is interesting. I heard this online, so take that for what it's worth. But I heard just one ad spot in Critical Role is around $60,000.
Oh man.
So yeah, they're making millions of dollars every year just off, the ads. So we're going to go ahead and do that too. So if anybody wants an ad spot on Thieves Cant,
yep, we're going to roll this out right now.
And we're going to discount $40,000 right now. Get it while it's hot.
Right.
And we'll throw you in. And I mean, you know how overbearing Jeremy is.
And how superficial Chris is.
Exactly. So we can make it work. So just let us know.
All right. Now, with headlines out of the way, let's move over to crowdfunding. All right, Deadlands Classic 20th Anniversary reprint and audiobook from World's Largest RPGs, funding now on BackerKit. So we've got to explain the setup here.
Please do.
All right. So Deadlands, the original Deadlands, was released in 1996. 2016, the 20th anniversary was put out for Deadlands Classic. At this point, Savage Worlds had come about, built off the bones of Deadlands, and then featured for a while a system called Deadlands Reloaded. Deadlands now for Savage Worlds. Whenever the new edition of Savage Worlds came out, of course, they updated all of their setting lines, so Deadlands got a new revision. So now, here we are in 2025, coming up on the 30th anniversary of Deadlands, and we've got a company that is reprinting Deadlands Classic, that anniversary edition that came out in 2016. Have I confused you?
Right. So I only was aware of Deadlands in relation to
Savage Worlds.
Savage Worlds.
Yeah, you've played Deadlands Reloaded.
Right. But this is not in any way related to Savage Worlds. This is the tie-in to the original game.
Correct. Which evolved into Savage Worlds, but that's the only relation between the two.
Right.
So this classic 20th anniversary edition, again, being reprinted along with a new high-quality audiobook. So Deadlands Classic, set in the Weird West, blending Western themes with supernatural elements. It uses poker-inspired mechanics, a standard deck of playing cards. Character creation is impacted by those cards. Initiative is impacted by it. It utilizes poker chips that go in a fate pot for gameplay. Uses the entire suite of your dice from your D4 all the way to your D20 for like stat attributes. So again, if you're familiar with Savage Worlds, clearly you can see where that rule set was born from that initial Deadlands system. So this particular campaign, you can get your hands on a full-color hardcover reprint of that 2016 edition with all the rules included. You can get the audiobook professionally narrated, ideal for game prep, accessibility, maybe for the visually impaired, anyone who has challenges with reading. This is a great offer.
Oh, yeah.
And they've got a variety of pledge levels. I'm a little disappointed here that in the pledge levels, you can't simply get like the hardcover book on its own. If you want to get the hardcover, you're going to have to go up to the $69 value, which includes the audiobook. So that's something, along with the PDF. But if you only want the audiobook, you can grab that for $26. A few dollars more at $29, you can get the audiobook plus the PDF. So that might be the sweet spot there.
Yeah.
But if you are a hardcore fan, I love this. The Collector's Hellstrom Whiskey Box Bundle. There are only 34 of these. I'm not sure if there are any left. $299, but it gets you the hardcover, the audiobook, the PDF, a double deck of cards, clay fate chips, some extra chips, a character folio as well, like the entire bundle, everything you're going to need for the game itself. There's a free bonus for all backers. You get a free PDF of the Paradise Lost adventure. And there are some stretch goals as well that they are fleshing out. The campaign runs until September 12th. So that is another week or so as of the time of this recording. Sounds pretty cool.
Yeah. I don't know if I'm committed enough for the $300 collector's edition, but it does sound
I'm not
neat.
there yet, but if that's you, pounce. All right, that's crowdfunding, and we are off to explore that latest Unearthed Arcana release in today's Lore Dump.
Okay, hold on again. Now,
I still take an issue with the name.
I feel like, we're going to go with Lore Vault. How about that? That's the best I could come up with. But
Okay.
No longer the Lore Dump, right?
All right, here we go. It's the Lore Vault.
So we're still going with the toilet flush sound effect.
Yeah, it's kind of baked in.
Yeah,
So.
I feel like that's not very vaultish. It is what it is.
I'll work on that.
So today we're going to talk about the Unearthed Arcana for Apocalyptic Subclasses. And obviously there's a lot of allusion in this to Dark Sun, which is really interesting. Again, this is a setting that I did not think the WotC of today would be prepared to engage with, but these subclasses definitely have the Dark Sun taste to them.
Yeah, so I mean, WotC they're not using the words Dark Sun.
No.
But it's clear what the intent is here.
Yeah, there's a lot of verbiage here, though, that is very intentional and points to that setting. So it's interesting. It'll be interesting to see what they do with it. But I guess, at least for today, the focus is on these 4 classes. I guess we'll just go ahead and get into it.
Yeah, take us through it.
Okay, well, the first is a Druid subclass. This is the Circle of Preservation.
Okay.
And while you might be a member of the Circle of Preservation, you're going to become the Master of the Cube.
And what is the cube?
So this whole class really focuses on a 15-foot cube.
It's a giant Rubik's Cube.
Right. It's a cube of life.
Okay.
Right. So revitalizing energy inside it. And it's interesting in analyzing this class. I like when a subclass gives you a feature and then that feature just continues to grow.
Yeah.
And so it really, bolsters that aspect. However, this one, and I alluded to this in a previous episode where we just briefly mentioned it, it gets pretty powerful. I think my feedback here would be maybe some of this needs to be toned down a little, but it is.
Calm down.
Yeah, it is. So at 3rd level, any creature that enters this cube of life is going to get temporary hit points equal to 1d4 plus your Druid level.
Any creature.
Yes, I believe so.
Okay.
Yeah, whenever a creature, including you, ends its turn in the cube, or you grant the creature one of those effects, or they can purify. You end one effect on the creature, causing it to have the frightened or poison condition.
Okay.
And then there's magical vegetation that appears, and you can move the cube up to 30 feet as a bonus action. So, cool. That's not really too much, is it? You're also going to get some other abilities. As you level up, this cube is just going to become more and more powerful.
It levels up with you.
It does level up with you. So, by level 6, when you're in the cube, you and your allies gain a bonus to Constitution saving throws equal to your Wisdom modifier, which is obviously, as a Druid, going to be your highest stat.
You would think so.
So that's cool. And then you can reject Desecrators. So now we're going to address the baddies that come in, right? Whenever the cube created by your preserved land enters an enemy space, or they enter the cube, they have to make a Wisdom saving throw. And on a failed save, they're going to take 2d10 radiant damage, and their speed is going to be halved. And so
that hits pretty hard.
Yeah, it hits pretty hard, right? And so, but this is, again, just sort of building up. By level 14, that cube is going to get up to 30 foot.
Maybe you said this and I missed it, so forgive me. But how is this activated? Does it take an action?
It's a bonus action.
And then do you have to? Is it concentration?
No, you're not. You're not concentrating on this.
Just consistently using your bonus action every turn to keep it up.
It lasts for a minute unless you're incapacitated.
Oh, lasts for a minute. You get all of this at the expense of using a bonus action on one of your turns. And
Right.
it's just there for a full minute.
Right. And when you consider a 30-foot cube by level 14 that's, doing 2d10 radiant damage to anyone that's inside of it, or providing temporary hit points and saving throws, which is going to impact it's going to affect your concentration saves, right? So because it's Constitution, so it's pretty powerful. I mean, it's interesting. I'd like to see it in play, but and then of course along with this, you're casting all of your druid spells and doing everything else you do,
all the other stuff.
Yeah.
Okay.
I know the only thing I didn't like was the foliage that you create from this thing, just goes away.
Oh, so
I thought it would be a lot cooler if it was just there. I mean,
like I made something grow.
Yeah, you don't even have to make it difficult terrain. Just, oh, look, I made life that persists. But it's a small
So
detail.
at this point, it's simply a magical effect.
Yeah.
That is not actually real.
Yeah, it looks like you made progress in saving the world, but it was all a lie.
Right.
So you don't get to be Captain Planet or anything cool like that. But so yeah, that's the preservation druid.
Okay, I like it.
Yeah, yep. And then the next one up is the gladiator fighter. Gladiator's interesting. I mean, the immediate comparison you're going to draw is with a battle master. Yeah.
So what differentiates this from the battle master?
Well, I mean, I feel like there's slightly less options. They're lower.
So it sucks more.
Well, it's different for sure. So I mean, the focus of the class is basically you're there to please the audience, right? You're there to put on a show, so you're a lot more flashy than
a lot of flash,
a typical
flare.
Yeah. So you're fighting in the arena. Level 3, they have a brutality ability. So what they can do is activate Sap Mastery.
What kind of mastery?
This is a Sap Mastery property.
Gotcha.
Right. So this is one of the weapon masteries that's new to 24 D&D. And so whatever mastery you're using on your weapon, you can attach that Sap Mastery to it. And the target is going to take extra damage based off your charisma score. So again, a lot of motivation to bump charisma.
Interesting.
You can the bluff ability. You can activate the Vex Mastery property on a weapon. You have advantage on saving throws before the end of your next turn, and then stumble. You can activate the Topple Mastery property in addition to a different mastery property you're using. And on the next turn, the target can take only an action or a bonus action, not both. So these are kind of interesting ideas. You can, and again, the number of times you can do these things is based off your charisma, maybe a little multi-attribute dependent.
Yeah, it would be tough to me to play a fighter that I had to make sure that my charisma is on par with, my strength, my constitution. I mean, that's difficult to pull off.
Well, I mean, it's kind of like similar to the paladin.
Sure.
They have that, strength is the focus of their attacks generally, but man, there's a lot of motivation to get that charisma up. So,
right. Okay, now I want a multi-class gladiator paladin.
Ooh, that sounds kind of exciting, like a glory paladin.
Ooh, nice.
That actually sounds pretty neat. They also get an athletic flair. So when you're making acrobatics and athletics checks, you gain a bonus, again, equal to your charisma modifier, and you gain proficiency. And there's a few skills listed. I mean, how these ribbon bonus skill abilities are. At level 7, they get a flourish parry, so you learn to counter blows, and you can make a reaction to add your charisma modifier to your AC against the attack, potentially causing the attack to miss. I'll be honest, in thinking about it, there's a lot of motivation here to multi-class with Warlock, right?
Okay. Isn't there always?
Right. But make a blade lock, so now your weapon attacks are charisma-based.
Okay. Yeah.
The flourish counter, if it's a reaction, if it causes your opponent to miss, you can retaliate with a powerful counterattack. A pretty good ability. I'm going to go down. I think the mutilate ability they get at level 18 is really interesting. When you hit a bloodied creature, which again, bloodied is a term in 2024 D&D.
Does it mean the same as it did in 4th edition?
It means the same, and they call it bloodied.
Okay.
So
you're at half hit points.
Exactly. Yeah.
Half your max.
Yep. When you hit a bloodied creature with an attack roll, you can attempt to critically injure it. So this is going to involve them making a con save, and they can suffer. They suffer the following effects. They're maimed, so if the target takes the attack action, it can make only one attack.
Okay.
And sluggish, the target's speed is halved, and it has a -2 penalty to its armor class. So I thought that's like a pretty good debuff to be able to use.
I love the idea of limiting a multi-attack enemy to a single attack.
Yeah. So the next one up is Defiled Sorcery.
Oh, I like the sound of this.
Sorcerer subclass. So yeah, this is really Dark Sun flavored, right?
Sure.
I wish I could go back and put this as the only available subclass in our campaign right now. So yeah, basically, in a nutshell, you are siphoning life in order to cast spells. And you're just going to get better at that as time goes on. There's going to be bigger effects. So you can siphon from yourself. So, if need be, you can convert your hit dice into spell slots.
Yeah. That's cool.
But you can also life steal. So this is, on a once per long rest, I believe, you can do that to an opponent. So basically when you're casting a spell, they have to make a saving throw. I believe it's a Constitution saving throw. And you're going to suck the life out of them in order to power your spell.
What about a willing ally?
It does not specify that. You could use the life steal on them. I guess they just refuse the save. So that would be an option, I would think. Yeah.
Okay. I like anytime that there's a system in any game that makes Magic feel a little more dangerous, risky to use. I'm a big fan.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah. There is some risk reward. There's some cost involved here. And so as you go on, though, your corrupting magic is going to get more powerful. You get a Defiler's Ward. So basically, you're going to create with a bonus action, you can transform sorcery points into spell slots, and you can wreathe your body in a protective web of defiling energy. And so at first, what this is going to do is it's going to give you temporary hit points. And if someone hits you while you have those temporary hit points, they're going to take necrotic or poison damage.
Okay.
So stay away, right? And also, damage dealt by sorcerer spells and features ignore resistance to necrotic and poison damage. So you might want to select your spells
based
on
that.
In order to bypass that resistance.
That would be smart.
Yeah, and then as you go on, that emanation, that web...
Which I do have to... I love the irony here in a protective web of defiling magic.
Right. Sounds fun, right?
Right?
It's only defiling everything around you.
Right.
It's great for you.
Yeah.
This is a little toxic, isn't it? Yeah, when an enemy in your aura hits you with an attack roll, you can reduce the total attack damage now. So you're actually reducing that damage by your charisma modifier. And when an enemy dies, you're going to gain 1d4 sorcery points as long as they're within that 15-foot emanation.
Okay.
So
Bring on the minions.
Yeah, just feeding it. You're going to gain immunity to poison and exhaustion at level 18. And that withering aura is going to increase to a 30-foot emanation.
Beautiful.
So, yeah, good times. Great at parties. A lot of fun. No, it looks interesting. I like that one a lot. The last one is the Sorcerer King Patron. Again, wow, really hinting at dark side. There's no subtlety there, right?
No, not at all.
But the whole thing here is, who doesn't love a little bit of tyranny, right? We all love a little tyranny now and then.
We all?
Yeah.
Okay.
So you serve a tyrant, but you can be a little tyrant.
You're like, you remember the Gummy Bears cartoon?
Yeah. Yeah.
And you had what was the little puny
little troll thing,
troll goblin orc thing that hung out with the Duke?
Oh yeah. Yeah. Wow, you're asking me to pull from a database that's been locked away for a long time.
I'm not even sure why that's the example that popped into my head.
He's the Duke? Was that his name? Was he the Duke?
Yeah, and all the orcs or whatever they were, they called him, Dookie.
Dookie. Yeah.
And he had the little guy that was always
I know
the
you're
stooge.
talking about. He was like the smartest of the.
Yeah, he's the little tyrant.
Yeah. You want to be that guy?
Yeah.
You can be. Yeah, so the whole thing is really focused on this idea of dominating others. So when you cast a spell from your Sorcerer King table, you can do it without verbal or material components, except material components, obviously, that are consumed by the spell. or that have a cost. So I kind of like this. Some subtle casting
Sure.
going on. Very cool. Also on level 3, you're going to have an intimidating presence. So you're going to have proficiency in intimidation skill, kind of a ribbon feature. And then you can cast command as a bonus action without expending a spell slot. You can do this a number of times equal to your charisma modifier, and you regain all expended uses when you finish a long rest. I really like command.
Yeah.
It's one of my favorite lower level spells. It can have a big impact. So to be able to do this for free as a bonus action,
Right.
at this point, you're probably doing it, 3 times. You're probably going to have a modifier of a +3. So that's pretty neat. Level 6, Decisive Edicts. You can rally your allies and subjugate your enemies. That should be on the pamphlet.
Well, your eyes lit up at the word subjugate there.
Subjugate. I love it. So yeah, when you cast a spell with your Pack Magic spell slot, you can cause profane power to erupt in a 30-foot emanation. That's another one.
Right.
Put that on the pamphlet.
Give me
right?
that profane power.
Yeah, so you can choose one of the effects. You can marshal. In other words, a creature has advantage on attack rolls until the end of its next turn, so you can give an ally advantage on attack rolls. Or you can oppress. The creature must succeed on a wisdom saving throw against your save DC, or have the frightened condition until the end of its next turn. So you're just casting your Pack Magic spell, and here's an effect that goes along with it.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Just an extra layer of goodness or badness.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go for oppression. I feel like that's really a good pick there.
Lean in.
Lean in. Yeah. And that's a feature that against resets on a short or long rest.
Okay.
So, when someone hits you with an attack roll, this is a level 10 feature, you can take a reaction and force them to re-roll the D20. I don't like that. Do it again.
Right.
Better this time, right? So I guess that's kind of the idea. If they miss with that, then they're going to take psychic damage equal to your warlock level. So you're going to be punished. Again, that's a number of times per charisma modifier. You can use that. And then at 14, absolute tyranny. You wield your patron's tyrannical might with absolute conviction. Whenever you cast command, you can target one additional creature with the spell within the spell's range. And additionally, a creature frightened by you automatically fails its saving throw against any command you cast. So that's going to go right back to your ability to evoke fear with casting a spell. You have command available at all times. So you're just bossy. You're really bossy.
So of these 4 subclasses, do you have one that really sings more than the others?
I like the sorcerer, the defiled sorcery.
Yeah.
I don't know that it is great for a good aligned character, but just to put it on a villain, yeah, I'm using this. Right. So it looks fun, and it's again it taps into some of those elements of Dark Sun that we don't see in other versions of the game. So it's really, it feels different. A lot of these mechanics, I will say, whether I liked them or not, they felt a little different than some of the things we had. A lot of the Unearthed Arcanas felt a little samey.
Yeah.
See a lot of the same effects coming up over and over. So there were some things here that looked different. So I thought it was a fun one.
I'm very interested in where this leads. What is the ultimate product plan if they decide to use any of this moving forward?
Yeah.
Like in what capacity do we see this in products?
And maybe they're throwing us a red herring. Maybe they're just going to release a different product, and these are going to be subclasses, and it's going to have nothing to do with Dark Sun.
Yeah, yeah.
But I think somebody was having some fun seeing what those subclasses might look like.
Yeah, based on everything that we've already have, are these subclasses enough to bring in to play what you would think is like an authentic Dark Sun campaign?
It's a start.
Yeah.
Dark Sun has a lot of emphasis on psionics. So I know we have classes that are psionic focused, and it's interesting. We had the previous Unearthed Arcana that dealt with psionics so much. So I wonder if that's also a tie-in that we just didn't recognize.
Right. It wasn't as explicit.
Yeah. So it may be that we're seeing that setting in a couple of these entries that have been made.
All right. So all eyes on whatever may be coming, I suppose. If you've got any experience with any of these subclasses, have you play tested these? What are your thoughts on them? Again, you can reach out, thievescantcast@gmail.com, or drop us a comment somewhere online at thievescantcast. By the way, Toady is that little ogre's name from the Gummy Bears, short for Toadwort.
Ah, yeah, okay. That's him. See, don't you want to be that guy and cast and command?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
Again, I don't know where that reference came from. High adventure that's beyond compare.
I think that song's been in my head since I was 6.
Right.
So.
Don't forget, we're going to see you later in the week, back with another episode of Thieves Can't Capers as we continue our review of the Draw Steel rules. We're into the classes right now. So, Chris, I think later this week we're going to be talking what do we have on tap? The Fury class, as well as the Null and the Shadow from Draw Steel.
Very different flavor with all 3 of those.
More on that to come. We're excited about Draw Steel. So excited to get back with Thieves Can't Capers. And, of course, we'll see you next Saturday as well for another episode of Thieves Can't. Until then, have a great week. Great week of gaming, a great week of life, and we will see you next time. I'm Jeremy Shane.
And I'm Toady.
It's been Thieves Can't. So long.
Thank you for listening to Thieves Can't. Email thievescantcast@gmail.com.